I'm going to go over some simple preps, things that just you have laying around the house or typically you would discard once you're done using them, that I feel like that could come in handy in a crisis time. Whatever you can think of, you're watching these videos because you have thought things can go wrong, whether it's an economic collapse, natural disaster, civil unrest, anything that can possibly happen, I'm sure you've thought of. So you watch these videos just like I did, and you may not think of some kind of things that I thought of. Maybe you have, just to give you some ideas. Over time, people get hurt. They get braces when they're not hurt no longer. They throw them out. But in a time of crisis, or just who knows what happens, you may not be able to get to a doctor. My wife and I, we saved these little ankle braces, anything that can help us in a time of need. Even old ace bandages you don't want to use on a normal basis, just throw down in your basement or wherever. I have old eyeglasses. I wear glasses, obviously, so they break. You get new ones over time. So I just save them. You never know what can happen. You need some parts or something to replace ones. Something that's not talked about a whole lot, toilet paper. I know you've seen it in my videos before, just in the background that I shoot. You gotta have toilet paper. You don't want to scavenge for stuff to wipe yourself with. I've seen people put these up. This little cool traveling thing for camping also. It's a little multi-tool thing. It's good for bug out bags, etc. Here's the compass. I don't even know where I got this from, but as you can see, it's brand new. But bug out bag situation, camping, or just you got to be on the move. This is a blanket. One side of it, if you put it on you, it keeps you warm. The other side keeps you cool. This is a nice little thing. A pocket saw here. That's good. Easier to travel with. I have this potassium iodine tablets. I'm not looking to survive a nuclear fallout, but ended up in my stocking, so I save it. Cool little multi-tool. I like building stuff, but when I go camping, but this is pretty cool. I bring it camping with me. Hammer. It has a wrench on one side, needle nose pliers, and actually has bits for to act as a screwdriver that you hook up on one spot. Has a little holder for it. For us old timers, CD players. You may have batteries. You may not be able to charge your iPods, but you can play your CDs. My wife's grandmother bought me a yo-yo. We don't play with it much, but when there's nothing else to do, tinker around with this kind of things, bringing back some memories, wasting time, etc. And since I have children, you want to take their mind off of any worrying. My kids love when the lights go out because it's happened to us. It was out for a couple days in a really bad storm. They like doing things like this. Play some dice. For us old timers, again, you know a lot of card games, so you want to save decks of cards and things like that. You have this dot-to-dot game. You have word searches and brain games and just all these other little cool things. It keeps their mind occupied and in a time of a real crisis. Having the power go out for a couple days to me is not a real crisis, but some kids can't handle that kind of stuff. My wife, many years ago, there was always candle parties and things like that, or people just buy my wife candles for some reason. We have so many candles. We save them all. We don't burn candles. We're not the type of people. They have all these oils you burn now for smells too. But she always got, I think she even had a candle party. She got this really cool thing, but you never know when you need candles to last for a while. When we talk about being prepared, you're not going to have batteries, things like that. So we have tons and tons of candles. Somehow we just built over time. Here's a hand crank emergency radio. It's a flashlight. There's a whole bunch of little gadgets. You can get one really cheap on My Patriot Supply. This is a really nice one. So my wife got me. I got some of these fire starters. These magnesium fire starters, all different kinds. People keep buying me because they know I prep. I have waterproof matches that I got in the stocking. I got a whole bunch of lighters. You save those over time. If you find one, just keep it. I I have something else right here. My wife loves buying me this kind of stuff. It's a stove that you set up like this. I'm going to do a YouTube video about it. I've actually never used this, so I'm going to experiment, show you how to use it. You have a fuel disc, you light it up, and you cook on it. My daughter and I are going to do that. I'm going to shoot a video on that. We have a whole bunch of extra discs. You can find a lot of this stuff on sporting goods stores for camping. Here's a coffee press. We love coffee. Unfortunately, in the time of a crisis, your coffee's going to run out soon. And I do have some of the Franklin's Finest, but I don't plan on using those. I have to. I have all different sizes of these little tension balls or something that they're supposed to not touch. I think I got them when I went to New York when I was a kid. I bought them all. But it's cool, you know, keep people's minds occupied. I have some emergency ponchos. I always keep those in my truck too. I have different type of can openers. Let's keep them down here. My wife's grandmother bought me a harmonica. We don't play it, but it's cool to mess around with. You have some fun. You got to realize that you're not going to have power. Not sure if I showed you the gloves. You always want to have gloves. I have gloves everywhere, but a nice new pair of gloves. You never know what you need it for. Little traveling games that I had when I was a kid. My kids think these are cool too. Bring them camping. Glow sticks. Glow sticks for kids are fun. You know, they get excited. They want it to be dark when glow sticks are on. Life straws. They become very popular and very cheap. They, I read they only have a 3-year shelf life. These are a lot older than 3 years old, and you have to get new ones. Peroxide. Peroxide, rubbing alcohol. You can't have enough of this stuff because you need it on a regular basis. We have tons of medical stuff. Gauze pads. This is a really cool item. It's a cold compress. You pop it. Somehow they have these out now. I know they have kid ones, kid-oriented ones. You pop them and they get cold. Extra tape for medical usage. You want to get extra band-aids. We have tons of stuff. A couple more things you want to go over that I wrote down are extra propane, especially if you have a propane tank. A grill that takes a propane tank and you want to cook on that. That's a lot easier. A fire pit with extra wood. You can always cook over that. That's a good one. Raw honey. Keep raw honey. It's good for eating and consuming, and I use it for cuts. It heals cuts really fast. And crutches. If you ever need crutches, which I've needed crutches and my wife, we save them. I put them in the attic. If you ever need crutches, it's very hard to substitute those. Another topic I want to touch on is stitches. It sounds really weird to say I want to buy my own stitches. I would get stitches. I'm going to get stitches. There's a medical supply place I looked into where you can buy your own stitches. If you get a really bad cut and you can't get medical attention, you don't want it to get infected, which that's where the peroxide comes in handy. But also, you want to stitch it up. It's not going to heal right, and it's more likely to cause an infection or bleed and just keep bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. So stitches are very important. We're going to get those. Canned goods, storable food. That kind of stuff is like a little more advanced type of people. But all these kind of things are just basic, common, everyday things. I'm trying to look around to see what else I have laying around. Extra batteries are always good. And what we love here is this is really cheap. If you just want to go an extra step, mashed potatoes are like $12 or something for this whole can. It's really filling, especially when you're really hungry. Another little idea. Here's some older mashed potatoes I had. I put them in plastic containers. These are from work. I got them. They're old garlic containers. I just clean them out instead of end up in the garbage. I put these in them so no mice or any kind of rodents can get inside these. And you can see what you have instead of keeping them inside the totes that My Patriot Supply has. Just a couple ideas. I could ramble on for hours, but nobody wants to watch me talk for hours. Hope it helped you.